If you're seeing this video for the first time, like, comment, subscribe. Before I get into this video, again, like, comment, subscribe. Alright, so apparently the 75 players that was voted on the 75th players list in the NBA didn't really like it. There were some people who did deserve to go in, and there were some people who didn't. Melo didn't deserve to go in. James Harden didn't deserve to go in. I think Russell Westbrook didn't deserve to go in. But I think they just did that so people can talk, because they know, because sports knows when to get you all riled up. Like, you can't sit here and say, oh, Barack Obama was the best president of all time. Some can say Bill Clinton was the best president of all time. But you can never have that discussion. Why? Because it's irrelevant. Just like in sports, it's irrelevant. You can't say, oh, my team got 4 championships. How many teams your championship got? Like, we're basing wins and losses off of championships. Championships are participation trophies. That's the way I look at it. Super Bowls, NBA Finals, Stanley Cups, whatever sport you like, it's a participation trophy. You don't get anything out of it, But I just think that this list was just garbage, But, like I said, you could do the same thing for NFL. This 75 of the greatest NFL players of all time, who would be number 1? Who would be number 2? Who would be number 3? Positionless. So that means quarterbacks, wide receivers, defensive ends, safeties, linebackers, you name it, But, it is what it is. So my main video was about what happened to my Knicks. Now, people, see what the media does. The media, they have 2 sides, right? It has the victim and it has the evidence, right? So what the media does is they go out and say, oh, wow, James Harden is getting along with their teammates. James Harden is doing this. He's doing that. Didn't he do the same thing when he was in Houston? When he had all those pieces around him, didn't he do the same thing in Brooklyn? Even though he only lasted 1 year there. When KD and Kyrie Irving was out, wasn't he single-handedly carrying them? And now he's with the Philadelphia 76ers. Oh, he's 3-0. Like, dude, cry me a river. Because for one, James Harden can go 0 to 100 in a regular season. Don't matter. I don't care how many. He can score 63 points the next game. I wouldn't care. Why? Because in today's society, we're so fixated on holding people to high standards, right? Allen Iverson, great dude, phenomenal player. His jersey sales is probably 3rd behind Kobe and Michael Jordan. Like, I actually wanted an Allen Iverson jersey when I was in middle school, but I didn't have the necessary funds to buy it. I wanted his sneakers. I wanted his jersey. I wanted to be everything like Mike. Like AI, because AI was just cool. You know, the ladies loved him. The fellas wanted to be him. It's like you couldn't have a boneless, you couldn't have a soul in your body not to dislike Allen Iverson. But the thing with Allen Iverson is he didn't get the concept of winning. If he understood the concept of winning, he would have won a championship. He would have won a championship. But the media has portrayed him as me, myself, and I. Me, myself, and I. He didn't care about his teammates. He was just for him. He did this. He did this. I disagree. But they say the same thing with James Harden. Oh, James Harden get along with teammates, this and that. But in hindsight, he flames out when you need him the most. Why is that? Why does James Harden? Why don't James Harden keep that same energy in the regular season and transfer it to the playoffs? Why? Because he has little success in the playoffs. He had little success in the playoffs. That's why he's failed so many times. Just like the Brooklyn Nets. Why you think the Brooklyn Nets never won any championships? And I'm not counting the ABA because the ABA was not even in existence. The ABA wasn't even remotely the same when the NBA took over. Because when the ABA was out there was only 8 teams. Now the NBA has 30 teams. So I'm not counting the ABA. The Nets have 0 championships. 0. But it is what it is. Y'all can one, believe the media all day, every day, or y'all can two, y'all can be instinctive. Y'all can listen to your gut. You can listen to your brain, your heart, your gut, what your gut is telling you, what your heart is telling you, what your brain is telling you. Don't let people put things in your ear because we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We're just taking what the media says. Some of us, I'm not saying all of us, but some of us are taking what the media says accountable. If we say James Harden is the best shooting guard of all time, people are going to agree with it. If we say Allen Iverson is the most skillful, we're going to disagree and say, no, Kyrie Irving have the best handles. It's competition at the end of the day. And no disrespect to James Harden. I think James Harden is a cool dude. But I just don't like the way he plays basketball. And I remember when Kobe and Jordan was asked the same question. I think it was Michael Jordan. Some commentator asked them, or some journalist asked them, well, when you look at across the league and you see Russell Westbrook and James Harden, and he says that, their accolades, how do you think they were fair in the near future? And he said, well, what they're doing for the game is great, but that style of play would never win them the championships. And the way James Harden plays, it's nerve-wracking. It's like taking your claws and just grinding it in chalk. It's like it just nerves wreck. Like he's not fundamentally sound. Like, I don't know if he established the point guard position naturally. You see how Chris Paul play? You see how John Stockton play? You see how Jason Kidd play? Steve Nash? You could probably say Derrick Rose, Allen Iverson. Those were true point guards. James Harden is playing a point guard, but he's playing it in a shooting guard role. Like he's not doing the necessarily things that you need from a point guard. All he does is bounce, take a couple of dribbles, break you down, crossover, and shoot. Or sometimes he'll just float it up. Or sometimes he'll just dish out and pass, which I'm not saying that every point guard is doing it, but at some point, he's going to have to learn that there's a difference between winning and losing. Right now, he's winning. There's really nothing nobody can say to him because he's winning. But I'll tell you this. Wait till the playoffs start. Everything is going to unfold once the playoffs start. Everything. From saying James Harden is this and that. Wait until the playoffs start. I'm not making it. I'm not using the playoff as an excuse because, like I said, we've seen him before. Houston got bounced out too many times. He went to Brooklyn, got bounced out. Obviously, his OKC days, he was coming off the bench. I understand that. He wanted to be his own guy. Now he's in Philly. Now he's grooving and making things better. But take note of this. He may be making himself better, but you could tell by certain players that he's playing with, they don't like him. Why? Because of body language. Like Harris. Harris have to off way before James Harden came into the team. Him and Embiid were like two B's in the pie, or two peas in the pie. Like they were feeding off each other. As soon as James Harden comes, Harris forgets how to play basketball. He's averaging if you look at his stats the last 2 games, because they only played 3 games together. The last 2 games that they played, Harris finished with Harris finished with, I think, 12 points the first game. And then yesterday, I think he finished around 17. So you see his playing role is diminishing. Will that hurt or help him? I don't know. Because like when you get into a groove, it's very, very hard for a player to come in and take over. But that's what James Harden is known for. He's a Super Saiyan. He goes from planet to planet, blow things up, move on to the next one. Goes to planet to planet to planet, blows it up. Now, obviously, people might say, oh, you just hate and you don't want him to succeed. I want him to succeed, but do it the right way. Like the way you play basketball, he hasn't changed. He hasn't changed since his Rockets years. He hasn't changed since his Brooklyn years, and he still haven't changed then. He's doing the exact same thing he's been doing when he was with the Houston Rockets and the Nets, and now he's doing it again in Philly. And I said this before. The only team he fits better in is the Honeybees, Golden State Warriors. He does not match well in Philly. The reason why he's playing so well in Philly right now is because they haven't gotten punched in the mouth. Just like Mike Tyson said, everybody got a plan until what? They get punched in the mouth, right? So when Philly gets punched in the mouth, watch him self-destruct. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to self-destruct to a point where you can start raising eyebrows, but you're just going to have to rough him up a little bit, because James Harden is super sensitive. He don't show it, but he's super sensitive. Like, if you take him off his game, he's going to self-destruct, like a nuclear bomb. Like, it happened in the playoffs too many times. And we all know the playoffs and the regular season are 2 different beasts. Everything shrinks. You don't get the calls you want. You know what I'm saying? And 90% of James Harden offense comes from the 3. So if he's not shooting, if he's shooting the bricks off the shots, and his balls are not dropping, he's gonna self-destruct. Just like how LeBron James self-destructed his first game against Celtics, But That's it. That's all. Y'all can take it how y'all want it. If y'all think James Harden has finally found his calling, then all praise to him. But I know James Harden as a basketball player. I know what ticks him off. I know what don't take him off. Like I said, you just gotta be in his head. You gotta take his psyche away from him. Just like how Odell Beckham Jr. The way to stop Odell Beckham Jr. You have to get into his head. Because once you get into his head, his game is gonna go completely south. Like it don't matter if it's Odell, James Harden, anybody. All you gotta play is mind games. Mind games, and then they're gonna take you. It's gonna take them off their rocker, and as soon as they do that, you got them. You know what I'm saying? So, that's what I used to do when I played video games for money. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to do dirty tactics. Like I used to say, "Man, you garbage as hell. You know you can't beat me." And what happened? I wind up beating them. And I'm gonna show you a thumbnail. I won a MP3 player and a fidget spinner, a golden fidget spinner. I won. I had to beat him twice in Madden, and I had to beat him 3 times in 2K, and I did all of that. And he was pretty good. He was good. He wasn't no rookie. He was good, But I wound up beating him because I know the human mind. I know how it works. I know how it don't work. I'm not saying I'm a professional, but I just know how to, break you down mentally, I didn't break him down to the point where, he just didn't want to play no more. But, I just gave him the silent treatment. You know what I'm saying? Like, But anyways, man, like I said, if you want to sit here and believe that James Harden is a brand new man and, he's finally found his calling, congratulations. But when the playoffs start and he cramps again, I ain't gonna have nothing to say. I'm just gonna sit back and drink my tea. Just like that. And y'all gonna be flocking to my page. Oh, you was right. How you know you was right? Like, oh, this and that. I was like, try to tell y'all. His calling is Golden State Warriors. Because if you really look at how Golden State Warriors play, it fits James Harden and Mo. Look how Clay and Curry and Wiggins. It fits his calling perfectly. James Harden should go to the Golden State Warriors. If this doesn't work out, which I know it won't, because Embiid is so demanding of the ball, and so is James Harden, it's not going to work. But it is what it is. Y'all can believe the media. Y'all can believe other people. I believe myself. I believe in myself. So, without said and done, I hope everybody has a blessed, beautiful day. I will be just doing a lot of Cuban doll content and gaming content, because obviously, it is what it is. Football is really nothing to talk about. Basketball is halfway finished. I don't really pay attention to the draft like that or the combine. Because I don't think any of these rookies are going to come in week 1 and change, like this ain't 1999 or early 2000s, those days are over, in my opinion. Those days are over, But like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, take care of that. Take care of yourself and each other.